Good morning, my friend, and Namaste. Welcome to Namaste today in the Zodiac weather. My name is Stepº4 Witecki. I am the sensei to Sirius joy, here to stand in my heart and walk in the light. Such a pleasure to light walk with you today. I'm love casting live in 5 dimensions in this beautiful underwater temple of Gaia on Monday, February 23rd, 2015. And today it might be a little turbulent in your underwater emotional psychic world because today we have hit step 4 of Pisces. Now, Pisces is what we sense. So it's what we sense underneath reality. And you cannot believe in any of this, but you will probably agree that you have some sort of senses about things that you don't have any proof for. So we have an I sense state of awareness where we're always sensing things. Well, today what we're sensing is where we truly belong. Where we truly belong. And when I say truly, I mean according to the soul's plan. Remember, we are mind, body, and soul. And sometimes the mind and the body run amok in their own directions, which the ego is attached to and things like that. And the soul, every now and then, yanks on the light cord and boink. So we might be up for a little shock if we are out of balance with that, trifecta inside of us. And that's where the potential breakdown is, which I've been predicting might happen at any time. At the same time, we're doing some releasing. I think we've never been so psychic as we are on Earth. I think our vibration since the Mayan shift keeps rising. Myself and the practitioners I speak to, we're all seeing more fidelity in our psychic awareness, not less. As I get older, I get brighter, more aware. And so this, I believe, this month, this Pisces turn around on the merry-go-round, is one where we're all really starting to see a new view of things. So if you're having a hard time letting go of the old, let me tell you, I'm in the water and it's really warm. This is not cold seawater. And the fishies, the Pisces here are really nice. It's worth the ascension, although sometimes it makes us a little dizzy or sick. And this is one of those days. But before we dive into how to go into that and how to manage that, let's first tame our brain, shall we, with the phrase of the day. I belong on earth. I belong with Goddess. And so it is. Now, you can put God there or Goddess. It really is about what you feel best with in your heart, the way you can connect. You can say with Spirit. That's fine, too. But what you're saying is that you belong in both of these places, that we belong connected to heaven and earth, that we belong as a conduit, a crystal, a walking carbon-based crystal of certain frequencies. And that's what we do. We make these frequencies real in our personality and our originality. So I belong on earth, and I belong with Goddess, and so it is. And really just kind of, after you reach your emotional tone of the day, add that on. I belong on earth, and I belong with Goddess, and so it is. The serious step of the day is step 4 Pisces, and so the architecture of incarnation is as follows. We're at step 4, we're climbing up the ladder, and step 4 is the step where we belong. So we come into our belonging consciousness. And if you've ever taken one of my classes, I always teach manifestation is actually the arc of what we love to where we belong. That is what you map when you manifest, what you love to where it belongs. So we have I protected on step 0, I love on step 1, so we found out what we loved, then we started to feel it, then we believe it in step 3, and then where does it go? Where does it go? That's what I belong is. So because the reason I predict that today might be bumpy is because we may be really wrong about what we thought we belonged and where we actually belong, and those kind of moments take some extra emotional nurturing. But there are 3 places that 4 really comes out at a big way, and I'm just helping you understand it. In this particular one, it's where you belong, yes or no. It's the ground bottom truths of where you belong. And because we're in Pisces, we're talking where you belong spiritually, where you belong according to spirit, soul contract, and other things. When we get to the second chapter, it's that you are loving where you belong. And that helps you go through another breakthrough because we usually don't see past 14. We usually can't see past step 14. One of the interesting effects of step 14. And then 24, this is when you go for it. and you go, I feel my belonging. I feel it. And you let go of the side of the pool. You go down the water slide and allow it to happen. And the 4 in that case is, up and down because you're in that master level. So today is about belonging, even though we just got out of that transit. So you should probably be more clear on your belonging than you have been in the entire year. That's a good thing. But before we coach on that, let's first look at the ruling colors and what they're doing for the day. So we are very, very violet right now. This is the violet time of year. Violet is step 7, I sense Pisces. Happy birthday to the Pisces, by the way. And today, with I Belong consciousness, we come back to the violet. Now, the red there is grounding us. And in essence, we have to stay grounded all the time when we are in the violet. You have to take, and so instructing you to listen to your emotions and to connect heaven on earth is grounding. So I'm already trying to assist with that today. But you probably have your own grounding ritual, and whatever it is, you want to do that. Now, I would also recommend doing some clearing of your feelings, as I recommended earlier. And, my 3 mantras to use always with emotion is I feel good about myself, I feel good about my life. I feel good about myself, I feel good about my life. To me, those 3 line you with truth. And then, once again, you must ground. When we get this high, you must ground. That means eat, sleep, drink clean water, and listen to yourself and listen to your body. So let's take a look at the timing of things on this Monday with the cosmic clock. And here we are. The moon has moved into Taurus, but first, the sun at step 4 Aquarius. The sun is where our light comes from. All of our strength, all of our energy, all of everything comes from the sun. Therefore, in the material world, the sun is God. Now, the the earth is moving into a black Lilith patch, basically. I'd call it a black Lilith patch right now. And this means that fears and apprehensions are ganging up on us to some degree. I think this lines up with the sun crossing over Neptune on the other side of the way there, which is logging us into our higher spirit. In the next 24 hours, we begin to cross Neptune in a very heavy way. This is a very much getting in touch with your highest soul. Your soul may reach you through dreams. Your soul may reach you through, automatic writing. Your soul may reach you through a tarot card reading. But your soul tries to reach you big time, definitely calling on the phone when the sun crosses Neptune. Now, as this is happening, we are simultaneously facing fears. These fears are always based on a past life, always, but also have usually found a way to re-manifest in this life. And so, see it as looking for the signs. And this is a mastery of passing the details that don't matter and focusing on what you love. So fear may overbuild. So I'm calling this a potential bitch fest, by the way, and I mean that with all due respect to the wombed man out there. But I really think that, when you get into that mood where you just are bitching about this and another side is bitching about that, that's the sand trap of this 24-hour period. As we're going through breakdown, we are tempted to fall into our bitch fest and get seduced into that shadow. So what you want to do is and just walk by, not give it any energy. Recognize that there it is, and that's the thing about shadow. There will always be shadow there, and you get to get comfortable with it in a Peter Pan way. The moon is in Mu Taurus, and that means that our emotions are manifesting what we are experiencing. So we're planting seeds with this. This is good, though. The moon in Taurus does help everyone ground, because it's the natural vibration of Earth. So Mother Earth is kicking it up a notch with the moon in Taurus, and your emotions will want to ground. So as soon as you put in the effort, you'll find they kind of slip into gear, because that's what's being sponsored by the universe. And then this has come to a very tight head, the step 14 square of Uranus and Pluto, which I haven't spoken about in a long time, but the fact that they both are at step 14, okay, that's step 4. So obviously, this Uranian step 4 moment is meant to tie into the square. The square is fear. Fear is pockets of consciousness that block us, basically, and keep us from being flexible. So we have these pockets, and step 14 leads to a 5. 5 leads to a conclusion, a new conclusion. So we are looking for a new conclusion on our rules. We're looking at a new conclusion on who we are. And if you look at that white arrow, it's pointing to Mars and Venus, which have just joined the party of who we are. So having Mars and Venus there together, holding hands, means that we are fertile. And I mean that in every way, boys. Be careful. Seriously, everything is fertile. Girls, too. We're all naturally fertile right now. The universe is sponsoring fertility. Mars and Venus are ahead in Aries. This is really giving birth to the new ego inside of you. And this new ego is going to be based on whatever the new conclusion is, 1 + 4 makes 5, in the step 14. So a new conclusion in your rules and a new conclusion about your ego. And in the zodiac weather, I'll tell you and break it down for each of the signs what those two things are. Now, looking at our Tower of Truth, as I call it, the sun is at step 4, I belong. And you can see at the top, the yellow arrow, Venus now is at step 3. Venus has taken lead. She has taken lead, folks. The girl has taken lead. And the man has fallen behind. Mars is falling behind. This literally means that our feminine side is now leading the consciousness. All right, that's a good thing. And our masculine is falling behind to support the feminine. And this is the dance you see between Mars and Venus all the time. It's the intertwining of our consciousness and how, you know, yes, you live in free will, but God does this kind of stuff to you all the time. You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, you're in free will on a shaky merry-go-round. So as you can see at the bottom here of the chart, the sun is on approach and crossing Neptune at purebred 7. And so we're going to go through this kind of cosmic vortex, which pulls us into our highest self and reports on our spiritual state. That's my belief. Now, tomorrow we hit step 5. And step 5 is that we'll put it all together. So today, you really want to go with the flow of things. You want to emotionally go with the flow of things, because it's going to lead to a new way of thinking. The mind may feel crazy, and if you feel crazy, then you're actually on the right path, because you're entering a new foreign territory that the mind has no operating system for. So it is crazy to the mind. And I found that whenever we go up a level or get knocked down a level, we think we're crazy. We feel we're crazy, and we have those kind of thoughts. So those are actually a good sign that you are ascending if you feel crazy for a moment or two. And that's, of course, the next 24, 36 hours, so to speak. So now let's move on to our Sensei Sunrise. And I have a surprise for some new ways of thinking about time itself. Under the sea, under the sea. So this segment I call, What Time Is It? And it comes from the idea of, how does time work? Now, we have a book club here now at Namaste today. And if you're a part of that book club, you know that we're doing a series of conversations with God. That's what we're reading right now. And you can join the book club by navigating to namastetoday.club. It's a Facebook club, and just come on in. What we are discussing, like I said, are the conversations with God. And the conversations with God are a huge discussion between author Neal Walsh and his channeling of God. This particular moment, talking about time and how reincarnation works, comes from the second book, if you're interested. And some fascinating stuff comes out on the topic, says God. God says that to imagine time, you have to imagine that time actually goes up. It's not left to right, like we think, or right to left, but up. That time goes up. That's the first thing to understand. And that the beginning and the end have already happened, so to speak. Okay? So imagine that each lifetime is a post-it note. And each time you live a life, you basically, it lives in a layer in the post-it note under the archetype of that you are, that you have been, that you have lived, and the space and time between them. And we've all been these different archetypes, I think, and have these past lives. The author in the book is said to have 947 past lives. And and you get a sense for his spiritual connection by his conversation with God. So it's like, wow, he had 900 lives. And I see where he's at with God and his frustration and stuff. So it's like, I think I've had 900 lives too. And I think a lot of us have had 900 lives. And what God says is, yes, we all pretty much have been doing this many times. We have a choice every time between lifetimes. But what is a lifetime? Well, it's one of these Post-it notes. But I think the expression "your time is up" literally means this. It's not that you're dead, it's that it's time to go up. It's time to go up to the next Post-it, to the next higher vibration, to ascend higher. Now, this, of course, includes space. You're not just on a Post-it note, you are somewhere on the Post-it note. And so we are occupying space in time. You can actually look at this as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because instead of first life, second life, third life, fourth life, or 5,000 lives. Those are stacks of Post-its, actually. But the point is that time comes down to the space-time continuum where the two come together and you map yourself out through it. Now, God says that everything in space-time is in one eternal moment of now. So you have the capability of feeling the entire future and the entire past in any of your lineage. The end of the universe, the Big Crunch, is the top, the Big Bang is the bottom, and the Big Bang and Big Crunch are already set in motion and in place. It seems that we choose a place within this stack to focus on where we want to experience when we come in and out of the incarnation. And I'll have another segment that talks about reincarnation and what he says about the process of reincarnation, which is very interesting to me anyways. So our Post-it notes basically go up through and around through space and time. And this is, to some degree, your Akashic record. You will be there at the Big Bang, and you will be there at the Big Crunch. You already are there. There is no real sense of time. It is all happening. And I believe that we are focused on one place. Now, one thing that I've always wondered is, do we hop around linearly? We might go in and go tweak the end game real quick, and then we might go down into the pink layer and work on that, and then we might jump up to the yellow. I get this feeling that we kind of might hop around actually in time. I don't know, and get opportunities. It seems certainly possible. God says that you can go back in time and forward in time, and he describes deja vu as part of that you have seen it, that you have glimpsed into it, and you bring back residue, he says, from the experience, and psychics can read that residue. So it is all very interesting as we kind of open up and cross over Neptune. The whole point of the sun crossing Neptune is that center pole there that holds all the lifetimes together, that pole is lit up right now. That means that we are easily communicating up and down through our past lives and putting all of the dots together and figuring out how it all, is the big, great story of who we want to become. Now, awareness is a different thing, and part of this questioning in the book comes from Mr. Walsh asking about if a soul is old, right? What's an old soul? And Creator says, well, souls are all the exact same age because the beginning and the end has already happened, and you're there in the beginning and you're there in the end. You're there always, with me always. So what marks the difference of a soul? And it's actually the awareness that we're sensing. So you can basically take over more space and time with your consciousness. And I don't mean take over as in control others. I mean, of all the things Earth offers, your awareness expands over time. So the people that we perceive as an old soul is actually an expanded, wide soul in the spectrum of things. And Creator points out that you can remain skinny all the way to the end if you want. There's no expectation except for you to discover and create who you really are. So I find this all to be fascinating. And as we are in Pisces and we're lighting up our multi-lifetimes, just my advice actually is just to write it down on a Post-it and put it on the wall. When you have an image of yourself or have something come to you, just put it on a Post-it and put it on the wall. We're just unpacking our subconscious. So in our today 11:11, if you are watched over in the Sirius personal sensei service, I will talk about which state you are good at from a past life. So each of us are good at a state. That means we lived another sign in other lives. One of those Post-its, there's a little trick in astrology where you can know where one of those Post-its was. I'll talk about which state you're good at from a past life. And secondly, not as if good and bad or good or gooder, but which state are you the newest in from a past life? So which state or which astrology sign is most difficult for you? And if you would like to join the Sirius Personal Sensei service for just 30 days, it's $19.95, and you can join at SiriusJoy.me. All right, when we come back, I have your zodiac weather and some advice on that huge square between Pluto and Uranus right after this. Introducing Secrets of Birthdays. Bow chicka bow wow. Are you ready to find love? Bow chicka bow wow. Your secrets are coming out. Bow chicka bow wow. All those sexy secrets are available at secretsofbirthdays.com. Bow chicka bow wow, baby. So garden. Welcome back to Namaste Today. And now on to our rock and roll gospel. Today's rock and roll gospel goes way back in multi-lifetimes. I'm going way back with this Pisces genius, and that is George F. Handel. Now, if you don't like classic music, but I love classic music. I played the viola when I was in high school, and until I got tired of having to do scales all the time and go to competition, and that's when I was like, forgive this, I'm out of this. But I do love classical music. I think I've been very much a part of the music scene, and there was once upon a time where George F. Handel was the hottest thing around, and you might recognize one of his hits. Now, he's a Step 5 Pisces. Step 5 means that you can channel, right? Step 5 means you connect. So Step 5 Pisces means, wow, they connect the dots. They can totally connect the dots. And indeed, this person can when it came to the genius of music. So today's rock and roll gospel is the Messiah Hallelujah. That's right. Every time you hear the Hallelujah, 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 that's him. Yeah. Talk about a hit that lasts for like, I don't know how long, like 200 plus years. I don't know the math actually of his time period. But it's a doozy. Now, speaking of Pisces and hallelujah moments, how about this Pisces? Mr. Einstein. Mr. Einstein also had an ability to connect to God and the earth. He was a Step 23 Master Pisces. 2 plus 3 makes the 5. So this is what happens when you turn up to the connection of God. Cool stuff. But definitely listen to your hallelujah today if you need some inspiration. But before you hallelujah, let's take a look at the moods of each of your brothers and sisters today. And as I promised, I'll be helping you with the square. Squaring off with the rules and with ego. That's what you're trying to do, is square off between what your rules should be or are and your ego. Those are the two sides that are basically fighting today. And let's map it out, starting with the Scorpios. Scorpios, cloudy with a chance of love issues today. Your rule side of you is all about thinking. So it's about your thinking rules kind of fighting with your ego's emotional limits. All right, your thinking's rules with your ego's emotional limits. So your ego is getting emotional, and your mind is getting controlling. Step 1, the Leos, cloudy and professional. You're squaring off with the rules and ego with lifestyle and what you know. So the rules over the way the lifestyle should be, and your ego saying what you do know and what you don't know. And you know, both of these parties could be wrong. That's the point. Step 2, the Cancer, sunny and helpful. They're probably out doing light walking today, helping others. They tend to always be cheery when the rest of us have a hard time, by the way. Just notice that. So thank you, Cancers, for being so sweet. Squaring off with rules and ego. Well, your rules about what marriages should be, and your ego wanting to get ahead in your career. Step 3, the Sagittarius, is cloudy, probably a chance of anxiety today. You're squaring off with rules and ego when it comes to the rules of making money. Don't fall into the old capitalism. Step into the soul capitalism. Okay, brother? And the egos, or sister, and the ego has got its thing about fun and adventure. And the ego might be having a hard time letting go of an old love also, just so you know. And that ego's just like, get over it, ego. We're going to find more. Step 4, the Aquarius is cloudy, nesting, and resting today, or at least they need to. Squaring off with rules and ego when it comes to faith and attitude. So your rules about what faith is or isn't, this may be that you're like, I don't believe in that stuff. That's my rule. Okay, because faith really comes in handy at this time of day. You know? And also your ego about thoughts. So your ego might be unwilling to listen to other people. That's just what I'm saying. Step 5, the Geminis. Cloudy, chance of fears, false evidence appearing real, if you don't know that Lightwalker acronym. Squaring off with rules and ego. Well, it's the rules around when you will or won't trust. Those might be some cobwebby rules. Blow the cobwebs off that. And your ego about changing under social pressure. Whether you do or don't want to or whatever, I think your ego is speaking up. Step 6, the Librans. Cloudy, chance of some anxiety today with the 4 vibration everything. You're squaring off with rules and ego about 2 things as well. It's the rules around love that might be fighting with your ego about creativity, your ego about marriage. So your ego wants one thing with marriage, and your controlling side wants one thing with love and creativity. And both of those sides may not be really in union with the soul. Step 7, the Pisces. Cloudy and very pensive today with this energy and the moon in Taurus. Your scoring off of the rules and ego go as follow. Your rules around who you will engage with and who you won't engage with, that part, and your ego's desire and drive for money. Okay, so those are the 2 sides that might be fighting. Step 8, the Capricorn, sunny and rather tender today, I believe. Look at, they're hiding behind my picture. Squaring off with rules and ego in the 2 following ways. Well, with the rules, it is your ego. So it's your character and your action. So you make the rules as a Capricorn for what your ego does. And your ego, on top of that, is stubborn about feelings and taking action. So it's about the ego being stubborn about certain feelings or being, vindicated maybe, and that's an emotional thing, and it's fighting with your ego that wants to be different, or swinging around the other way. Both kind of apply, excuse me. Step 9, the Aries, cloudy and productive today. So I think you'll be productive nonetheless. Squaring off with rules and ego, though, well, the rules around career, maybe those are correct or not correct, and your ego just being arrogant, period. I'm just saying that because that's the way it lines up. Seriously. Step 10, the Taurus is cloudy but cool. That doesn't look cool. That's the wrong icon. Maybe it's my subconscious telling everybody. It's possible. You are squaring off with rules and egos as follow. The rules around life purpose, which means like, the way you thought it would be and how it would go. And your ego about having faith or not. So your ego might be stubborn about just having faith and not being so tense. And then finally, the Virgos, cloudy and pensive today. Squaring off with rules and ego as well. The rules around love, all right, and creativity. So you have lots of rules. Virgo always has, they want that love story according to all those rules. And it's like, well, maybe that's part of it. And then the ego having issues with really trusting. So the ego is refusing, I think, at times to trust. All right, let's move on to Lightwalker Parade. First of all, if you're on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe. I thank you ahead of time. It helps us with our relationship with them. On Facebook, you can be our friend by going to soulgarden.me. I do all sorts of interesting posts, by the way, that I don't talk about on the show. And, of course, you can be on our email list by going to soulmart.me. And if you'd like, for just 30 days, it's $19.95, and you'll be guided along the way of ascension here in Pisces. Come to SiriusJoy.me for more details on that. Also, watch Modern Mommies. Their latest episode was fantastic, especially the GMO apples. Folks, we need to know what we're putting in our mouths. And don't forget, check out the Madgi Soundscopes, which is by my Lightwalker friend, Chrissy Stereo. That follows in our playlist as well. And, as always, if you need to rest your head, come on down to soulgarden.tv, the mothership of light. We're here, we love you, and we appreciate you. And I'm speaking for them myself right now. So have a fantabulous day. Stay in the light. Remember, I feel good. I feel good about myself. I feel good about my life. And I'll see you in 24 hours with more, my friend. Remember, I love you, and live, love, be. This is just so ironic. So